welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a very important topic for this time of year, and that is 1099 income. Specifically, how to report income that you never received a 1099 for. It's very common for freelancers and other self-employed gig workers to work for different clients and never receive a 1099. Now, don't think for 1 second that you can just say, well, I never got a 1099, so the IRS isn't going to know about that. Well, unfortunately, that's going to bite you. So what you need to do is follow the steps in this video so that you are still in compliance with the IRS, even if you've not gotten a 1099. So a 1099 is a form that someone who is self-employed or contractor gets for services performed. Usually these are gig workers, so think Uber and Lyft. Also think your independent contractors, like if you are building houses and you're doing construction, or more specifically, in my case, my web designers that I have working on websites, as well as the podcast editors and video editors are all examples of independent contractors. So, in my case, I obviously send all my contractors a 1099 because I'm a pretty compliant business owner. But if you are not so lucky, let's go ahead and dive in and tell you what you should do. Number 1, keep accurate records. Record keeping is so important. If you do not keep good records for your work that you performed and how much you were paid, that is going to be a very, very bad problem when it comes to tax time. You need to make sure that you keep great records of how much money you made per each client. It may be a great idea to have a program such as QuickBooks Self-Employed, depending on if you're a self-employed person or not, as well as other software, Xero, FreshBooks, either one. If you don't get a 1099 from a specific client, it's super important to keep track of how much money you made per year for that client, because what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to report that on your Schedule C, which is the form that is the profit and loss for your business on your tax return on your 1040. So you're going to have to keep track of all that income that you make no matter what, okay? So no matter what happens, that income has to get kept track of. So what you're going to need to do is make sure that you have accurate records. Make sure that you keep track of how many jobs and how much money you made for each client. And that way, if you don't get a 1099, you can go ahead and run reports or filter by the client and you can go ahead and report it. Number 2, I would always ask for a 1099. So even if they didn't give it to you, be like, hey, I should be receiving a 1099. And that's a great way to make sure that you are in compliance, but also it helps your firm. Alright, we're going to cut that out. That's a very great way to make sure that you are in compliance, but also the business owner that you're working with, because maybe they forgot to give you a 1099. So it's a great idea to go ahead and give them a gentle reminder, be like, hey, 1099. Also, you need to be in compliance. What's that mean? Well, if a business owner asks you for a W-9 form, which is kind of the equivalent of a W-4, only you're an employee for W-4, and W-9 is like a independent contractor form. If you didn't fill it out, then that's your problem. You need to make sure that you fill out your W-9 forms at the beginning of the year. Very, very important. So it's all about compliance and all about that kind of thing. Now, there may be some instances where the client didn't file the 1099 and they don't want to do it, or vice versa. In that case, you really need to do what I said above. But sometimes, if clients don't file 1099s and they're actually due to file 1099s, then it's a very, very risky thing because the IRS could actually catch up with that. Because what happens when you file a 1099 is basically there's 2 copies. There's one for the IRS and the other for the contractor. So if they don't get that, right, and they saw that you made revenue, and you answer that question on your tax return, should I be issuing 1099s? Well, then you're going to be up a creek without a paddle with the IRS. Very important that you keep track of your 1099 if you're a business owner. So, really, those are the things that you need to know if you need to get a 1099 and if you never got one. Now, how do you know if you need a 1099? Let's go over some rules real quick. These are always changing, so always consult your tax professional to make sure that you are in compliance. But here are some general guidelines. If you pay a contractor through PayPal or Venmo or Cash App or Zelle or any other medium, even QuickBooks payments, you do not need to send a 1099. The rule is because it's a credit card transaction, credit card processors will be sending 1099s on your behalf. Now, if you use payroll such as ADP, Gusto, Paychex, QuickBooks Payroll, or you used ACH with the QuickBooks payments options, you will need to send a 1099 to your contractors. Now, the greatest places to do that are tax1099.com, track1099.com, as well as QuickBooks has a very cheap way of filing 1099s. And if you are a business owner who is new to this whole thing and you want to pay contractors, they actually have a $15 a month plan in their payroll subscription where you can just pay contractors and you don't have to pay employees. So that might be something you guys want to look into. So I hope this video gave you guys a great set of resources for, number one, if you're the client and you need to file 1099s for your contractors. But number two, if you're a contractor and you need to make sure that you are having a 1099, or maybe you've never got a 1099, what you need to do in those situations. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the video, and I hope you guys join me for another video soon. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll talk soon.